I don't know if some of us have that stop button, that we don't know when that passion has gone a little bit, hey, man, what's wrong with them over there?
Right.
They go a little bit crazy, but
Hello, everyday peoples, and welcome to the In the Pocket with JayBo podcast. And I am your host, JayBo. We got a special one for you today. But before we get into that, I want to remind everybody the full episodes are on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. We advertise the podcast on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube Shorts, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And so, as always, we're all over the place. There's no need to miss us. You can catch us on your favorite podcast platform. Our subject today is why are Louisiana sports fans different? I'm sure we all got some funny answers for that one. But to help us out with our conversation today is going to be Coach Mike Norman. Welcome to the show, Coach. How you doing, man?
yeah, cool, y'all. How you doing today, Jay?
Doing great, brother. I was going to get you to say that. I was hoping you'd pull on to that.
Hey, baby, that might be the best icebreaker of why Louisiana folks are different right there.
That's what I'm talking about. No doubt about that. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself before we get rolling and just let people know what qualifies you about this Louisiana sports fan thing?
Look, so I was born just outside of Marksville in the Boyles Parish in a little bitty town about that big called Beldo. You could probably Google it, but I don't think you're going to find it even. I don't think Google ever heard of it. The GPS says take a right, and it don't know where it's going, I promise you. That town is about that big. There's not even a traffic light. I'm just telling you. So
wow, yeah.
Oh, I don't even think there's a stop sign in the town. that's
take a left by the broken tree.
Yeah, you turn at the old rusty car somewhere. I promise you. But so I was born and raised in the Boyles Parish. Listen, I am a Louisiana sports fan through and through. I mean, from birth, I was a Saints fan since I was swimming a little embryo. LSU fan. Listen. I don't regularly attend all the rest of the colleges, but I follow them and I support them. And listen, when it comes down to it, baby, I'm all about the boot. That's it. I'm all about it. 100%. True blue Cajun through and through.
Well, tell us a little bit about where you grew up and what do you do now, children and things like that.
I went to a little bitty, it was a Class C school called Fifth Ward. All right. From kindergarten through, I think, 10th grade. And then the Boyles Parish consolidated a bunch of schools, and I ended up at Marksville High School. Graduated from Marksville High School. From Marksville, I went to Northwestern State in Natchitoches. And from Northwestern State, I just kept, matriculating up I-49, and I got a job. I spent 10 years coaching basketball at Logansport High School, right on the Texas line. I technically was the varsity boys basketball coach at 22 years old. Which, looking back, is absolutely insane. When I look back on it, like, what was I doing? What was the principal doing to hire?
You're just a few years older than the kids in high school, man.
So look, there. I've told the story before that we had a really good defensive lineman. Matter of fact, my very first year at Logansport was '95. Logansport won a state championship in football that year. All right, we had a very good defensive lineman. And I'm not going to call his name here. Matter of fact, God rest his soul, he passed away a couple of years ago. But he was 19, and when football season was over, he decided he was going to play basketball. This is my first year now. I'm 22. I might have turned 23 by this point. But anyhow, so I'm yelling at this guy, running up and down the court. And one time he just turns and looks at me and gives me that look like, hey, man, you don't need to yell at me like that. And I remember thinking, this guy got me 100 pounds at least. And I'm not but about 3 years older than him. I might just shut my mouth just a little bit. I might need to let's just back off just a little bit. I was young. I was full of piss and vinegar. And that was a learning experience for me. But so I went from there and I moved a little bit east about 20 years ago. And I've been at another little school called Dorleen High School. I spent a couple of years at Minden High coaching football there, and I've been at Dorleen for about 20 years now. I got 2 kids. I got a 22-year-old daughter that probably has a little bit too much of her dad's attitude.
Right.
Love her to death, but she is Lord, that girl got some fire in her. I tell you what, don't tell her nothing because you going to get it back. I promise you. She
Right,
ain't backing
right,
down
right.
nothing. And I got a 19-year-old son that's going to LSU right now. He's on a full ride down there. And I
Nice.
don't know where he gets his calm demeanor at because he's kind of the level-headed one of the family. He's about the only person that when he says, "Hey, Dad, you need to calm down," that I actually stop and I'm like, well, if my son said that, I probably need to because he got more brains than anybody I know.
Hey, so every episode I use a icebreaker question to kind of try to get us a little loosened up and flowing. And I think you and I are already there, but I still had something a little funny for you. So if
Watch it now.
somebody,
You never know what's coming. Most
yeah,
of the
I
time,
know.
I don't know what's coming till it's already out my mouth.
So if a neutral person would just be spending a week with you, what do you think if that person would report on the time that they spent with you that week, what do you think would surprise people the most that know you?
First of all, I'm going to tell you, I don't know anybody that wants to spend a week with me. I don't even think my kids or my parents want me around for a week. So that's kind of a little bit hard to fathom. But I'm gonna tell you. So I have been called Jekyll and Hyde before, and I can't even argue that because the people that know me, like really know me, know that I will do anything for anybody, and it's almost to the point that it's a curse of mine that
Right.
even when it comes to the kids in school, like I just can't turn my back on these kids or
Right.
anybody when they need it. But then the average fan, sports fan sees me and they see me passionate or they see me yelling on the sideline and, well, he's just a rock. And they see a whole different side of me. And I think the people that you spend enough time with me, you realize there's a softer shell inside that hard shell. And I know any of my friends that might be watching this, the real friends are gonna know that. The people that are just kind of see me from the outside looking in might have a good giggle at that.
Right.
I'm just
So the
gonna tell
soft
you.
side of Coach Mike Norman is what you're talking about, right?
Shh. Don't tell nobody. Hey, we got to keep that under wraps a little bit.
Right on, man. Right on with the right on.
I've said many times there's a fine line between respect and fear.
Right.
If that line gets crossed, I'm all right.
Right. Right on.
I'd rather be respected. It is what it is. I'm okay if that line gets crossed.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to cross the line, but if it gets confused or a little blurry, I'm all right. I've been blurry before.
I'll tell you what, Mike, I'm really not overly surprised at that because I know you have a demeanor that you have, and that's the fun part about Mike. If you're going to be a coach and you're working with a lot of high school kids, man, you got to have some heart, and you've been doing it a long time, and it's not all fun and games. There's a lot of imbalances itself out because there's a lot of challenges that go along with that with kids on an individual basis. So I know with you doing that a long time, man, you've got to have a heart. You've got to be able to go above and beyond what your normal job is because I've seen it firsthand with a lot of coaches and man, a lot of those guys have a tremendous amount of heart. So it does not surprise me at all with you.
I appreciate that. I will say this, and I know this is a little bit off the subject. You're going to find out from Jay. Sometimes I take a little tangent. It's like the roundabout. Sometimes I get off on the wrong exit, but I'm going to tell you, the place that I'm at right now at Darlene High School, I got lucky. I got an assistant. I don't know how long he's been with me. His name is Rod Clark. And I can tell you, probably the only person that I know that loves helping kids the way I do is him. And to me, he and I just make a perfect. Now we don't coach exactly like I call him the drill sergeant. He's got a drill for anything you need. But
right.
Look, if a kid needs help, look, our kids, they know, just give us a call. One of us is going to get you there. I promise you, one of us is going to get you there. I mean, it just is what it is. But in this day and age, and so having him as my assistant for the last, whatever it's been, 8 or 10 years, man, that's just been a godsend. It's somebody that I truly trust, that I know he has the kid's best interest at heart.
Well, that's a blessing to have.
W's and L's.
Yep, that's a blessing to have because again, you going beyond the X's and O's of the game and everything. So that's perfect. And I really appreciate, you sharing that with us, especially with your assistant coach. So let's get into what we're going to call the gumbo and the jambalaya of everything today. I'm tired of saying meat and potatoes, man. You know where we're from.
Hey, listen, I'm just going to tell you, if we're going to talk about gumbo, potato salad in the gumbo is okay.
Yeah.
Now, listen, I'm a rice guy. But I don't know, about maybe 10 years or so ago, I remember I told you I moved from South Louisiana to North Louisiana. And a buddy of mine was like, hey, man, you coming over? We going to have some gumbo. I think it might have been for an LSU game or something. And I said, sure. He said, hey, we got some potato salad. And I kind of looked at him a little bit crazy. I said, well, fix me a bowl. Let's see what this is like. I'm going to be honest with you. You might not be able to teach an old dog new tricks, but you can teach a fat man some new food. I was all right with it. I promise you that. I was like, hey, you know what? I don't care what people say. Yeah, potato salad and gumbo ain't bad.
No, heck no. I love it. I've been doing that since I was a kid. I have a joke now that I tell people, I'll tell you right now, is that I love my wife's chicken and sausage gumbo. I think it's the best. Dark roux gumbo, and I love it. And we have potato salad with it, and we'll have people come over or family, friends, or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, my wife, Becky, she made Mexican potato salad with that too. And they look at me like, Mexican potato salad? I'm like, well, yeah, she's Mexican, so it's Mexican potato salad.
Lord have mercy. I bet she just loved that joke.
She cracks up like, well, she's heard it about 85 times, so she stopped laughing at about the 5th time.
It's one of them dad jokes. My kids tell me that, Dad, I done heard that joke 15 times. It's one of them dad jokes.
You know us dads, it gets funnier every time we hear it.
Absolutely, because we think we're just adding on to it. We emphasize something a little bit different. We made the whole joke different because we said it a little bit different. But, look, hey, I'm going to tell you something about chicken and sausage gumbo. Something I do with it that I love. And, boy, we done got way off the subject here.
Yeah, I know. Go ahead.
But look, I'm going to tell you, I take a duck breast and put it in there.
Ooh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hey, and it's not about eating the duck. It gives it all just a little bit of that duck flavor in that chicken and sausage gumbo. I love it. I love it.
Yep,
hey,
I love
it.
that. Good stuff.
Trust a fat man.
I will. So let's get rolling here, brother. First question. And I know you are the host of a TikTok show called Cajun Rules, which I love. And then you also have another show with your buddy Red called Boudin Cracklins. So tell me how that got started. And did you ever imagine these things growing like they've been growing lately and becoming popular like they are? So talk to me about that.
Listen, man. So it goes back for years. I've had people tell me, I have a bunch of sayings. In coaching, you pick up sayings and you do all kind of stuff. I had people tell me before, like, man, I just need to follow you around and write down some of the stuff you say and write a book about. Matter of fact, one of them said we're going to call it the Book of Normanisms. And I don't know. It just is what it is, the gift of gab or whatever you want to call it. So I was on TikTok and I've been on Facebook and a couple of social media platforms, but just in passing, like just an average person. And so last year, matter of fact, it was at the LSU National Championship game in Omaha, baseball. Okay. I was there. And at the end of the game, of course, I had a whole phone full of videos from the game. And on the ride home, I said, well, let me just post a couple of these and just see what it does. And I don't know, it had thousands and thousands of hits on it. And I was like, it kind of got my attention. This was on TikTok. And so I started posting and started posting. And then I got into just doing my own videos. Lord, Jay, if you ever go back through my TikTok and see those first 4 or 5 videos, I don't know how anybody watched that because Lord have mercy, I go back and I almost feel like deleting them. I'm like, y'all don't need to see that.
Hell no, you leave them on there, man.
Scratch that. But
you gotta remember
one day
when
I'm all famous, they'll be able to go back on that. Yeah, I ain't even famous in my own house.
Oh, God.
So, Boudin Cracklins, now, as I've said, I'm a coach at a school. Red works with us. All right. And he and I spend a lot of time during the day side by side. Now he's from Louisiana, but he's a Cowboy fan.
Oh.
All right. So you can about imagine all day is cow turd this and Saints this and blah back and forth. But over the years, I've come to realize Red's pretty knowledgeable in sports.
Okay.
All right. He's kind of like me. His head is filled with useless sports information, just absolutely full of useless sports information. So we were kicking it around one day, and one of our a younger guy came in and he was hearing us, banter back and forth. And he's like, "You two are like an old married couple. Y'all just need a podcast and do this." And it was almost like somebody hit a light switch and we kind of looked at each other. You know what? That ain't a bad idea. So we kicked it around for a week or two. And I, as you have found out over the last couple of hours or days, technology is not necessarily my friend. It just is. It just is what it is. I'm just an old couillon that talks a lot. And so I told Red, I said, "Listen, we do it. I'll help you all I can. But when it comes to the technology, buddy, that's on you. That's on you." So he does the editing and all that kind of stuff. And we started it, I don't know, I guess it's been almost a couple of months ago. And right now, I'm doing it because I have so much fun doing it. Like, we just spent 3 hours earlier today talking about the NFC East. And what else we talked about? The Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks. And we did several different ones that we'll be putting out here in the next couple of weeks. I'm kind of if you can't tell, I'm kind of the yammer. And he kind of kicks me back. He kind of kicks me back into play, every now and then. He kind of keeps me in line. But I enjoy the heck out of doing it. So
y'all have a great balance.
I don't know where it's going to end up, but I'm enjoying it.
I think y'all have a great balance because Red is kind of even keel most of the time, and you're flying off the handle here and flying off the handle there, and it's a great interaction show with you guys. Yeah, brother.
I would never do that. So I don't know if you saw the one episode we did where I got really heated about something. So Red, like I said, he's the technology guy. On the side of the screen, he puts a Cajun thermometer going up, getting redder and redder and redder as I'm yelling and screaming.
Seen that, dude.
Lord. So he called it the Raging Cajun meter.
I like it.
I imagine when we get to football season, you're going to see that thermometer quite often.
Yeah, no doubt. I tell you, I really enjoy y'all shows. Just the interaction between both of you. It's like a Felix and an Oscar. It's just funny, man.
That's a great analogy.
Like, it's a Felix and an Oscar of sports. It's really cool. And you remind me of just these couple of old cats when I was younger. Man, boy, y'all see that Saints game the other day? What y'all think about that? That son of a man, that stuff. And Barlow, you had a lot of negative things to talk about back in the 70s with them, I can tell you.
Well, the last couple of years also.
Yeah, Lord,
it ain't like it's been our one shining moment the last 4 or 5 years.
No doubt. But I got to tell you, man.
I'm going to have to really be careful once we get to football season, because, I still am employed at this point. Right. So I'm going to have to watch. Every now and then I'm going to have to look at Red and be like, cut. Hey, we got to edit that out. Yeah, I don't think nobody needs to hear what I just said there. Let's keep this PG-13.
I love it. So I also got to say, the thing that attracted me or the thing that caught my attention with you on the Couillon Rules on TikTok is how you started the show. So give it to me one more time, Coach, how you start that show.
Hey, Couillon, what y'all doing today, baby? Hey, look, I have no idea how that started. If you go back, like I said, and look at my first, 5 or 6 videos, it was just a blank opening of, hey, how y'all doing today, whatever. And then, I don't know, I did it one time, and I was like, I kind of like that. It's kind of me also. It's kind of like my little chapeau here. It's kind of like my little chapeau. I kind of like it.
That's what I'm saying, baby.
I quit worrying about people a long time ago. At least what they think of me.
All our people outside of Louisiana that are following the show, Couillon is it's like a term of love, really. It's calling you're almost calling somebody fool or foolish, but you're saying it with love. It's like a kid. It's like a kid that drags dirt into the house on their shoes or something. Hey, you little Couillon, what you doing over there? Something like that.
For your older audience, I'm going to tell you what it is. You ever watch Sanford and Son?
Hell yeah, you big dummy.
You big dummy. Hey, Couillon ain't nothing but Fred Sanford telling Lamont, you big dummy. He's saying it with love, but he wants you to know
loves him.
What you're doing is stupid.
What you doing?
Whatever you're doing, that's some dumb stuff you're doing. I'm just telling you.
Man, I knew I was going to see how long it took for my eyes to start watering. We're almost there.
Well, look, that might be my new goal, because I've said on our Boudin and Cracklins, when I can make Red, now Red is 6'6", big old dude. I ain't gonna put his weight out there, but Red is a healthy dude. He's eaten a chicken nugget or two in his life. I'm gonna tell you that. But he's also a ginger. So he's the biggest leprechaun you've ever met in your life. I'm telling you. So my goal sometimes is if I can make him red and get blush red, I know I'm doing something right.
You succeeded.
I'm doing something right. Sometimes I don't even care about the subject. I just got to do something to get him going.
That's it. Well, look, I think your shows are tremendous, and everybody out there on TikTok, it's Cajun Rules, and also Boudin Cracklins is a podcast that they have going, and man, it is amazing, and I encourage everybody to check it out.
We have it on YouTube, we have it on Facebook, and we have it on TikTok at this point.
That's and I'm telling you guys, you better strap on a seatbelt because that is a good show, man. You are in it for some entertainment there. But before we continue our conversation, I'd like to recognize one of our valued episode partners who helps make In the Pocket with JayBo possible.
Hi, this is Big John Conbell with Conbell's Custom Florida Collision Center. Just to let you know, we've been in business now for 40 years here in Jefferson Parish. So anything that I could do to help you in any kind of way, to paint your car, to fix your wreck car, call your insurance company. I will take care of it. I will get it done at a fast time. So anything that I could do to help you, give me a call, 504-361-1856. Conbell's Custom Florida Collision Center, largest on the West Bank.
And now let's get back in the pocket. Let's move on to our second question if we can, Coach. So this is where we're going to really talk about some Louisiana fans here. You coach high school athletes for years, and you're a lifelong LSU and Saints fan. What makes Louisiana sports fans just different than people from other parts of the country from your experience?
So I'm going to tell you, if we're going to be honest, part of it might be that.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Let's call it real now. Part of it might be that. I mean, where else do you go?
The spirits of Louisiana.
The liquid vibrations. How about that? If I can enunciate correctly. It don't hurt. I can tell you that.
Right.
Tell you what, that's part of the reason why Saturday night in Death Valley is different than 11 a.m. in Death Valley.
No doubt.
I can promise you it's different. But I'm going to tell you from a Cajun bone guy, it's pure passion. And honestly, I don't even know if it's just about sports. Get in an argument with any Cajun. It don't matter what it's about. Get in an argument with any true Cajun, and it's just pure passion that comes out. It don't matter what you can argue about gumbo. You can argue about potato salad or rice and gumbo like we just talked about. And you're going to get some big reactions from Cajuns just from the pure passion that's in us. I don't know if it's just DNA passed down the line. It is what it is. Part of it, I believe, is that the whole world views Louisiana as a bunch of straight from the water boy, a bunch of uneducated, possum-eating swamp critters, for best I can tell. That's how the rest of the world views us. Trust me, my in-laws were from the West Coast. Now, you can about imagine, kill them and grill them and tree huggers. Yeah, there's a reason I'm not married anymore. I'm just telling you, it was all in water. It didn't mix.
Right.
I mean that's a lesson learned. But the passion of almost trying to prove everyone wrong and to prove everyone we ain't gotta be fancy. We ain't gotta have all that money. We ain't gotta have all that technology. We can do it with just our pure grit and determination. And I think that's a passion that actually translates into everything Cajuns do. And sports obviously just multiplies it on top of everything else. Because look, go to any game. It don't make any difference. We're talking about Saints or LSU. Go to UL Lafayette. Go to any sports in Louisiana. Go to, oh Lord, hey, go to your local rec and watch some 10-year-old baseball or softball. Don't watch the game. Watch the parents.
Right.
You want the real entertainment? Watch the parents. Because Lord have mercy. Hey, look, they take it over the top sometimes. I've been known to do that once or twice. But,
right.
I'm just telling you, like, it's just And honestly, I don't know if some of us have that stop button, that we don't know when that passion has gone a little bit, hey, man, what's wrong
Too
with them
far,
over there?
right.
They go a little bit crazy, but I think it's a matter of just, we love hard and we hate hard. It's just kind of a Cajun culture and wanting to prove, I don't know if it means prove we're worthy or prove that we're better than people think we are, but I think that's part of it. Just, like, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you that I'm better than you think we are.
And the thing that goes with that is, I believe a real common denominator with a lot of the Louisiana sports fans is the food, the music, and the sports. And you mix all that together, as we were talking about,
as that gumbo.
You sprinkle in some of that little libations thing we were mentioning a little while ago. I mean, it gets crazy and it gets fun. And I can tell you one thing, Coach, is I've been to several SEC games at visiting stadiums, and I've been to a few other pro football stadiums. And I can honestly say, and I'm doing my best not to say this in a biased way, that we have the best, and we definitely have the most passionate. Now, that can be a challenging statement sometimes. But one thing I will say is, one thing I noticed with the LSU tailgating, and my youngest son was a captain of LSU's drumline, so I got to experience a lot of things over there, is that the Louisiana fans welcome in the visiting teams to their tailgating and to come experience the food, whatever they're cooking. Boudin Cracklins, jambalaya, fried catfish po' boys, fried shrimp po' boy, whatever. They want everybody to come, join into the fun, and everybody has a blast. And just walking around LSU tailgating, it's amazing what you see. And what are the two things? You're hearing music and you're smelling food throughout the whole. Am I right or wrong, Coach?
And you're smelling some bourbon and
well,
who knows
everybody got one hand with a fork and one hand with a beverage.
Ain't nothing but water in here, just to let y'all know.
That's what I'm saying.
So LSU fans and Saints fans also will take
fans too.
And listen, we're mentioning those two because those are the two big ones in Louisiana. But it don't matter. Any college town, whatever game, whatever. The fans are gonna take you in until you show your tail. And that light switch gets hit real quick when you show your tail, and all of a sudden that crazy Cajun passion comes out, and you see the whole backside that you don't want to see.
Don't be the negative side of the couillon is what we say.
Hey, look, you don't want to be on the backside. You know what's back there? It's kind of bad and stanky back there. So look, I'm gonna tell you a story.
Please do.
Years ago, it was the first year that Cowboy Stadium opened. All right. And I told you my in-laws were from the West Coast. Well, my father-in-law wanted to take, it was me and two other son-in-laws, so it was three of us. He wanted to take us to Cowboy Stadium the first year because they were playing Seattle. They're Seattle fans. All right. Well, I'm in Louisiana. They flew in. I just drove over to Dallas. Dallas is winning the game. You can probably go back and look this up if you really wanted to in history. Dallas is winning the game. With a couple of minutes to go, they score, I don't know, like 2.5 minutes ago, they score and take a 2-possession or a 2-touchdown lead, or a 2-score lead. So they basically wrap up the game. We're sitting in there, and I'm telling, now listen, I'm decked out in my Who Dat gear. I am. It's Seattle and Dallas, and I'm decked out in Saints gear.
Black and gold.
I didn't care. It didn't make no difference. I didn't care. I'll do it again today. It don't make me no difference. You're not going to take what I represent. But so I'm sitting there, and so Dallas scores. They take a 2-score lead, and the whole crowd, this is not me trying to just diss on Dallas, but this is, yay. And I'm like, what is wrong with, I'm literally asking the people, what is wrong with y'all? If this was happening in New Orleans, Lord have mercy, there'd be drinks being thrown everywhere. Everybody'd be high-fiving. We'd be doing the chopper style, baby. We'd be doing chopper style. I mean, what in the, I don't get it. Hey, look, hey, baby, I done chopper style many times in the dome. Hey, I'm a season ticket holder. Look, for those of you ever want to come hang out with me, look, you know where the Saints run out of the tunnel at in the end zone? Look at here. I'm on row 6. It ain't nothing but me, the aisle, and the tunnel. Baby, I love it right there, baby. I love my seats. Y'all come find me. It's all right, section 129. Come on down, baby. Look, I'm telling you, I'm inviting y'all. Come on, baby. Let's go. It's all a good time. But when you go to those other stadiums, when you go to Cowboy Stadium, when you go to Jerry's World, or you go to some other, see, now SEC football is a little bit different. Their fans do get a little bit rowdy. I ain't gonna lie to that. But
they have fun.
They have fun also, especially SEC. But you go to some of these others, other than the SEC, it's not the same passion. Now, I'm not saying they don't love their school. I'm not saying they're not, yay. Look, while we're on the subject, I'm going to tell you something that ticks me off. You see that little hair? You go to these schools, Bama, Penn State, Michigan, I think Auburn. You know how they celebrate in the bleachers? They all got this little pom-pom, and they shake that little pom-pom like that. Look, you see that? And there's just 80,000 of them shaking that little pom-pom. That's how you celebrate. My team good. My team good. What's wrong with y'all? Where is your passion? I mean, are you kidding me? That's you. We carrying Mike the Tiger up to that dumb stairs, go to bleachers. What are y'all doing? I mean, we playing neck. We got everybody go. What is y'all deal? Why are y'all missing that? I don't get that with other towns. Like, it's, you know what? Lane Kiffin said it perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
It's just different.
Right. That's it. You got to be there to experience it. That's my whole thing.
Hey,
you got to be there to experience it.
And so,
I told people from out of town that if they're going to an LSU game, I said it's not even important to go. It's good to go to the game, but go experience the tailgating and the environment. If you go to the game, great. It'd be great. But the experience of the tailgating is worth its weight in gold.
Hey, look, I'm gonna tell you,
purple and
there
gold.
is nothing. If you're a Louisiana LSU fan, there is nothing like when the band comes out pregame, and look, they all been down like that behind the goalpost, and then they start marching out to that little cadence. Yeah, well, you're in the band, you can play that cadence, but anyhow, they get on out there, baby, they throw them horns up. Yep. Bah, 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 bah. Are you kidding me? Baby, I get the fleece horns. Just thinking about that. Lord have mercy. Ain't no 4 notes in the world like them 4 notes. Are you kidding me? Hey, I tell you what, think of the traditions, that tradition at LSU, and I'm sure every school has some type of tradition, but there is nothing so singular that everybody is waiting for that first note. Saints games. You've been to Saints games. What happens prior to Saints game? What happens? We get our captain or we get some old guy out there, Drew Brees, and baby, we drop that hammer. And all of a sudden, the who that chant starts. It's just a way to get people that are already on the verge of insanity. He gets them all the way over.
Pushes them over, right.
Pushes off the cliff.
Well, when the Saints kick off, when we got the lead, here we come to get you.
That's right. Here we come to get you.
To get you. I love it. They started doing that like 20 years ago. I love that tune, man.
Absolutely.
So look, I love that. That's something we could talk about all day long. But let's move along to our third question, man, because we could drive that one home all day. So third question,
Jay,
I got
if
for
you ain't figured out, I can talk about just about anything all day.
I think this is great. I love this kind of stuff. You know what? Before I ask you the third question, let's go back for a second because we were talking about LSU. The name of that song is Pregame. That's the name of the song. Dun, 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 but when they march down that hill and they get to the base of this outside the stadium, in between the stadium and the PMAC, and they do pregame out there, man, that's almost the goosebumps. Like, man, that is one thing to see.
Outside,
thousands of people as far as you can see,
outside by Mike the Tiger. They're in between Mike the Tiger coming down the hill. Yep. I'm
seen
gonna tell
it
you
many times, man. That is an experience there.
I'm not gonna get into any kind of politics. I hate getting into politics, but one thing our governor did do for a game, was it last year or year before? He made them bring Mike the Tiger back on the field.
I heard about that.
That used to be the big tradition. Pre-game, they'd bring him out in the cage. They'd wheel him around. The cheerleaders would sit on top of the cage, and he was in a little wagon dragged around by a truck or a golf cart or whatever. Yep. And they did that again a year or two ago. And of course, listen, I'm not getting on PETA or nothing like that. But the animal rights people are sitting here saying, well, that's cruel and unusual punishment or whatever it is. I don't know. But I mean, then he gets to go sit back in his lavish lifestyle and do whatever he wants.
Living better than 90% of Louisiana does.
Look, he literally has to work for about 10 minutes, 5 times a year or whatever, just ride around in a cage.
Right.
Other than that, he's good. But I'm going to tell you, if there's one thing I wish LSU would do, that's bring back that. I loved having the live tiger on the field. It's just another thing to light that fuse for Cajuns.
Right? Yeah, no doubt. Well, let's move on to our third block here. You've been around Louisiana sports your entire life, okay? What are some of the most memorable or funny sports moments you've experienced as a fan or as a coach, but one of the most memorable to you?
Well, personally, if we're going to talk about Louisiana sports, I mean, there's no way you can talk about memorable Louisiana sports moments without bringing up the Saints Super Bowl win. I mean, they're just – so, look, I think it was this Sunday. I think it was Sunday. I'm just flipping through the channels, and I'm on NFL Network, and there is the Saints Super Bowl game against the Colts. Guess what I did for the next 2 hours? I sat there and watched that game like I didn't know the result. I knew the result. Right. You know, right before Tracy Porter's interception, boy, I'm up on the edge of my recliner like, here it comes, you know, like that. For the passion of the people in the state of Louisiana, to be the underdogs our whole lives, to be treated like we're beneath a lot of people, and for that moment to happen, let's be real. Drew Brees is an absolute icon, almost a god in South Louisiana and the Gulf States region. I mean,
yes.
There's no other way to say it. He will and will for always be that person no matter whatever happens. He is there. That is cemented. And if you want to know the truth, we need a statue.
I totally agree.
Gail Benson, Mickey Loomis, Drew needs a statue.
Yep.
Hey, you're getting inducted into the Hall of Fame next month. Pro Football Hall of Fame up in Canton. If you a who dat, baby, you gotta get there. But that Super Bowl, you know, I was at the NFC Championship. As a matter of fact, I've been at 2 NFC Championship games. I was at the famous no call against the Rams. I'm gonna get.
That's when I started siren on things there, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna get worked up. I mean, I don't want to bring that up as a memorable moment, but it was.
You know, it was, man.
I will say about that call though, is at the point that it happened, it was just a play in the game. That was still a couple of minutes and overtime to finish that. So it wasn't like it was the last play of the game. But I'm going to say something. I've walked out that dome many a time as a loser. All right.
Right.
And many a time I've heard the other team's fans outside the dome on Bourbon Street, all over New Orleans after the game, rooting for their team. I never once heard a Rams fan say a word after that game. Not one word. I think they knew, if I'm going to get out of New Orleans, I better shut up.
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell you. Now,
I agree.
Something else for me was a bucket list item was last year I went to Omaha and watched LSU win a national championship in baseball.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was
awesome. Look, so for years, you know, it's one of those things you always promise yourself you're going to do. Well, I'm going to go down there with 2 years before I was going to go down there. And then I talked myself out of it. Nah, well, I don't know. If it goes to 3 games or because, you know, it's a series at the end, I don't know. Well, last year I just said, you know what? I'm going. It's going to be what it's going to be. I'm going. And I went on up there, and I'm telling you, I had an absolute great time in Baton Rouge North. And if you've never been to Omaha when LSU's there, have you ever been there, Jay?
No, I have not. I have a lot of my friends have gone, but I haven't made it yet.
Look, I'm going to tell you, the outside of the stadium, the 5 or 6 blocks that surround the stadium literally looks like an LSU football game. The amount of purple and gold that's walking around, getting their liquid refreshments, and just having a good time, it literally looks like an LSU tailgate before a football game. It's crazy when you think of how far Omaha is from Baton Rouge.
Right. Oh, yeah. Without a doubt.
But again, that goes back to what we talked about earlier about the passion of Louisiana sports fans. You know, I hate to tell you, when I was there, it was probably 80% LSU fans. And that's being very generous to Coastal Carolina. We played Coastal Carolina. Very generous to Coastal. 80% LSU fans. I mean, I don't know. How far is Baton Rouge from Omaha? That's got to be, 12 hours or so?
Yeah, it's probably about that. I drove to Colorado last summer, and I was in some little podunk town in Colorado and watched the national championship game. I took over the TV when I was there.
I watched it from about 4 rows behind the Coastal Carolina dugout. So, I'm sure you can already tell. I was blessed with some vocal cords. So I'm behind. Yeah. If you remember, in the very last game, Coastal Carolina's coach gets ejected.
Yeah, I do. At the beginning of the game, didn't he?
That's right. I remember one of the first couple of innings.
I think it was a
second or third inning.
First or second inning, yeah.
It was early.
I remember that.
He's getting ejected, and he's walking back toward the dugout. Well, of course, I'm like I said, literally on row 4, directly behind the dugout, and I'm hammering him. I'm telling you, I'm giving him all my Cajun love. How about that? I'm giving him my Cajun love. And it's to the point, you would think with 30,000, 40,000, however many people fit in the stadium, he's not hearing me. The entire Coastal Carolina team turns around, and they're like, who is this? I'm like, yeah, y'all heard me. I promise you that. I'm going to make sure
that's that Couillon back there, man.
Absolutely. And I don't want to just talk about LSU and the Saints, but I'm going to tell you the third most memorable thing that's happened in my lifetime, at least. Now, obviously, we're not going to talk about these things, but those are pretty memorable sports events in my life.
Absolutely.
But hey, look, I will go on a tangent real quick and tell you this one right here. In 2020, basketball was one. That was the year of COVID. All right.
Okay.
The state and the country shut down the day before. So we're literally driving to Lake Charles. We played in McNeese, or Burton Coliseum at the time. We're driving down there, and I get a phone call that says, hey, they just shut the world down. Y'all not going to be able to play. Now, this is going to the finals. The semifinals was on a Wednesday. The semifinals was on Wednesday with a full house. All right. So we're driving down on Friday, and I get this phone call. So I pull into a gas station in Glenmore, Louisiana. I pull into a gas station there, and I said, well, you know what? Let me fill up the bus. They had a little deli. Let's spend a couple of minutes here. My plan was to turn around. I had been told it's been canceled. 15 or 20 minutes later, before we get on the bus, I get a phone call that says, hey, y'all keep going. The governor has said y'all can play with no crowd. So we ended up playing on the Saturday with nobody in attendance in Burton Coliseum except the players and the coaches and the referees. And so we played in an absolute empty Burton Coliseum for a state championship.
Wow.
So, I know the rest of the world that's listening to this don't care, but for me, that is definitely one of my top experiences. I get asked many times, like, what was that like coaching in front of nobody? And I'm going to be honest with you, Jay, I didn't even notice it.
I bet.
Didn't even notice it. My focus was here.
The game.
It was not what's going on. But to get back on track, I would say the reopening of the Dome after Katrina.
Yeah.
That was a Monday night game against the Falcons. That was the legendary Steve Gleason block. I was not at that game.
Yeah.
I wish I was. Monday nights are kind of hard for a hardworking man from North Louisiana to get down to. But by the way, I'm going to be there this year when we play the Falcons on Monday night. But I can't imagine that dome any louder than what it was at that moment.
Right.
When we blocked that punt. I mean, that had to almost be, I know what it felt like watching it.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you, Jay, I'm getting emotional thinking about it. I literally had tears coming down my face as a grown man when that happened. It was just like, damn it, we're back. You tried to kill us, but we're back. You're not killing us. You're not getting rid of us. We're here, and we're here to stay. I watched an interview with Sean Payton, and don't get me started on Sean Payton because I think he's a traitor. But I watched an interview, and he said in that interview, the Falcons had no chance that night.
Right.
There are just some games that you just go into and you don't have a chance, and the Falcons didn't have a chance that night. And I don't care. I don't care about the Falcons. I don't care about the Dirty Birds. But to me, those three, look, you can go back and look through the LSU. Another big event to me. Now, I've been lucky. You've been lucky. We've watched LSU football compete in 4 national championships in the last 23 years. What other college other than Alabama can say that? What other college other than Alabama can say they've won 3 national championships in the last 23 years? I'm going to tell you how many. None.
0.
All right.
Yep.
So we've been lucky. But if you stop and think before that 2003, first one was in 2003, right?
Yes.
Pretty sure it was. So before that first one, if you think about Louisiana sports before that, LSU baseball was decent. Other than that, the Saints were terrible. LSU football, if you go back and think, the 80s and 90s were not great years of football for either one of those teams. So
LSU had some good teams in the 70s and 80s. In the 70s, they couldn't beat Alabama. They couldn't. And
once we got to the late 80s and 90s, it was slim pickings.
They started kicking. But LSU started having some good teams. They had a couple of good teams in the early 80s from what I remember. I'm 62. So I remember them having a few good teams around that time. They definitely had some great individual players during that time frame. Basketball, they had some good teams under Dale Brown back in the day. But again, it was sporadic. It was always sporadic. Baseball really came around when the Warren Morris team, when he hit the home run then.
That was early
93 or 93, 94. And that's when they came. Well, when Skip Berkman came, took over. And
like gorilla
LSU's, ball. Yeah, exactly. But I can remember as a kid, my uncles and coaches and all that. I mean, LSU would have good teams before Charlie McClendon just could not beat Bear Bryant. He just couldn't beat him. And boy, you talk about some passionate, hardcore people when I was growing up, big time, And the Saints in the 70s were just horrible until about 78 or 79. And Archie Manning and them had some good teams right around 78, 79. But 80, it all went to hell. And that's when all the bagheads came out and Bump Phillips came. And, man, it was lean times for a long time.
Yeah, that 1-15 year was hard on the Saints.
That was horrible. I still remember
our one win was against the Jets in the pouring rain. How do I remember that? I have no idea. Yeah. But that's how much of an imprint it made on me.
Yep. I can remember when we gave Tampa Bay their first win in 77, I want to say, their first win as a franchise. But the number one moment to me as a Saints fan, and I helped run our suite that our company had for several years there. So in the Super Bowl year, I ran the suite for us. Man, when what's his name kicked the field goal to win the game?
Garrett
Hartley kicked the field goal. We were all on a knee, holding hands in the suite when he made that overtime field goal. That's how religious of an experience this shit was, know?
That's right.
Man, you talk about just great, passionate times. I mean, going home, you thought it was the end of World War II. We were honking horns and people going crazy. We going to the West Bank. I don't even tell you about the West Bank, So that's some tough, hardcore people, man. And it was just everybody loving each other.
When the Saints, when he kicked that field goal, there were certain announcements in sports that were perfect at the end of games. And the announcement of when pigs have flown and hell has frozen over, you cannot ever phrase something any better than that was for a Saints fan, for what we had lived through for our entire lives, for that to happen and our Saints to be in the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
Look, I'm getting goosebumps right now thinking about it. I'm getting the free songs right now.
I am almost too.
The hair on my arms is standing up just thinking about it.
Well, Jim Henderson made that call, and he was a Saints announcer for a long time, and I was so glad that he was around long enough to make that call because, man, what an experience that was. But that's just the foundation of what we've been talking about today is that the passion of the Louisiana fans, because you had to endure a lot of tough times and hard times, and not just that in real life, but also the sports teams were challenging for a long time. And then when they finally came through and started getting the right people, man, the success and I can tell you, this, Coach, the good passion is a lot more fun than the bad passion.
Look, I'm going to tell you, you can do this after a win and after a loss. But one way is a whole lot more fun. I'm telling you, one way you're celebrating and one way you're putting them memories away. I'm just telling you. But I'm telling you, I'm excited. Like I think most Louisiana sports fans, I am not only just excited about LSU football and Saints football. I'm excited about LSU basketball.
Yeah.
I'm excited about LSU baseball next year. Listen, you want the truth? I'm excited about what Tulane football has been the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't want to forget about them.
I know I got a green screen behind me from this is from our Boudin and Cracklins studio, but you know, it's like hey, that's the green wave right there, ain't it?
Right on, baby. That's
the
what
green
it looks like to be.
It's something. It's something. I'm just telling you.
I don't know if you remember old Vegas Vince when he was the head coach at Tulane, Vince Gibson.
Yeah.
Man, he was the only guy I think to beat LSU 2 out of 3 times or 3 out of 4 times.
At
and
Tulane?
it would be the third game of the year. This is in the early 80s. It'd be the third game of the year. And then like, Coach, how y'all doing today? Well, we getting ready for LSU, baby. We playing.
Yeah. Hey, look, I'm excited about Lane Kiffin and LSU.
Man.
Hey, they got a schedule. I mean, I don't have it memorized, but I think the first 4 weeks of the season, they got Clemson, Ole Miss, and A&M in the first 4 weeks of the season. I mean,
right.
Listen, what I'm going to ask is because I understand very personally how passionate LSU and Saints fans are, is don't jump ship if we start off with 2 losses relatively early.
Right.
Because look, even last year, if you go back and look at the losses LSU had, every team we lost to was ranked in like the top 18. So it's not like we lost to somebody terrible. Now, the Texas A&M loss last year was just so embarrassing that
that was bad.
As I said on our podcast one time, I called him Chip Kelly, and Red told me, no, that's Brian Kelly. I said Chip Kelly, Brian Kelly, Kelly Kapowski, Machine Gun Kelly, R. Kelly. I don't care. He gotta go. It don't make no difference. He got to go. I don't care what Kelly it is. It be Kelly Green, boys. I care. It don't make no difference. I'm just telling you. At that point, he gotta go. You can't take those blisters from an SEC school, Tiger Stadium.
I got to tell you, Coach, I really enjoyed talking about all this today, man, and I love seeing the passion come out because I knew you'd bring it if I asked you to be on the show today.
Hey, Jay, you might need to get that Raging Cajun meter.
I might talk to Red about that, man. So look, Coach, I really appreciate you being on today, and I just want to ask, did we miss anything today?
Well, look, I'm gonna tell you, I don't know if we missed it, but there's something that everybody needs to know out there. If you go to the end of any of our podcasts, I remind everybody every time, and I'm going to remind y'all right now, don't ever forget, the Falcons blew a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl. Lord, them silly, dirty birds. Are you kidding me? Man, who does that? Name but one franchise can possibly do that. Look, hey, did you watch The Waterboy? Do you remember how at the end, he said, I'm going to take the Waterboy out the game. I'm just going to snap the ball and kneel. The Falcons could have snapped the ball and kneeled the whole fourth quarter and won the game. No. We ain't finna do that. We finna Falcate. That's what we finna do. We finna be the Falcates right here. I'm telling you. Couldn't have happened to a better franchise. I'm telling you.
Well, Coach. Woo! We need a Ric Flair for that. Woo!
Woo! Mean Gene.
That's it. Well, brother, that's one of the best exits I've ever seen on the show.
That's right, baby. Don't forget Boudin and Cracklins now, baby.
Tell them where they can catch it at again.
Hey, we have Boudin and Cracklins. We on Facebook. We on YouTube. We probably just about anywhere Red puts us at. But we on TikTok. We kind of just branching out right now. But that's where we're at right now. That's where you can mostly find us. We just opened a Spotify account, but we really haven't got a whole lot on it yet. But we're going to get there. Listen, I'm going to tell you this. I'm not saying everything we say you're going to like. I ain't saying everything we're going to say you're going to agree with. But you're going to get a giggle before the show's over with. I promise you that.
That's what I'm talking about.
You're going to get a giggle.
Well, Coach, send my best to Red, man, and tell him I said God bless you. There's a place in heaven for him. I know that.
That poor fella, Lord have mercy. I feel sorry for him. Woo!
Hey, Red's good people, man.
Biggest leprechaun you ever seen. I'm telling you.
We got to get out of here, man.
Take it easy, brother. It's good to see you.
Hold on a second. I want to remind everybody before we go to Remember to catch us on YouTube with the full episodes and Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And again, we advertise the show on TikTok, Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube Shorts, and also on LinkedIn. And as I exit every episode, I always do, Coach, I'll catch you on the flip side, baby, for the next episode of In the Pocket with JayBo. Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir, baby. See you, Jay.